The truth is actually that Mississauga's population has declined a little bit over the last few years because cities like Milton and Brampton to the north have had much newer housing options available. But Mississauga didn't become one of Canada's largest cities by accident. Where you live affects everything: your time, your space, your stress levels. So if you're watching this right now and you're rethinking your move, then in today's video, I'm going to make the case for why Mississauga might be the right fit for you. I'm going to break down 3 reasons why people still choose Mississauga, things that other suburbs just don't deliver in quite the same way. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I share the 3 top neighborhoods that my clients usually put right at the top of their list. I'm Mike, a local realtor here in the GTA, and on this channel, I help buyers and sellers make smarter real estate moves. But enough of that, let's get started with the first reason why people choose Mississauga. Mississauga does a great job of making everyday life really easy for families. There are over 500 parks within the city. A few personal favorites of mine are Arundel Park, we have Rattray Marsh, which we love going to, and Jack Darling Park as well, down in sort of the Port Credit, Lorne Park area. And again, it just makes life really easy. There's always something to do on weekends for kids. We take my daughter to libraries across the city. Another personal favorite is the new Hazel McCallion Library just next to Celebration Square in Square One that was recently renovated. And in terms of community centers, you have tons all over the city. Some are being built new, some have been renovated really well over the past few years, and there's tons of drop-in programs both for children and adults as well. In some cities, you may have to drive all the way across town just for swim lessons, but in Mississauga, you usually have a community center maybe 5 or 10 minutes away, and there's always a park, usually within a really short drive. I think this is realistically the #1 reason why people move to Mississauga or choose it over other suburbs, is that you're really connected to everywhere. I know that for myself, it's really easy to get anywhere within 20 or 30 minutes. Obviously, there's going to be some traffic, but you're better located than most other suburbs. You're 15 minutes to the airport. You can get to places like Oakville or Burlington within 20 or 30 minutes, and you can get into the city of Toronto usually in about 25-30 minutes, depending upon where you're going and the time of day. So you're really well connected everywhere, and that's a huge plus, especially for families that are commuting. If you have a dual commuting family and you have one person going to an Oakville, a Burlington, a Hamilton, and one person going to downtown Toronto, this is a great middle ground and a great city overall in its own right. But in terms of travel and connectedness, this is probably the best spot within the GTA. And not only do you have the connectedness, but in terms of housing affordability and home prices, this is also a good middle ground for people, especially those who are moving out from Toronto. They still want to be close to the city, but they want a little bit more breathing room. They want a little bit more space. They want a backyard. They want a garage. They don't necessarily want to be in a condo anymore, but they still have to go to the office. They don't want to travel too far. Mississauga has all those options and more for you. Let's start with retail, which is probably my favorite part about Mississauga for myself personally. You have 2 major malls. You have the Square One Mall and you have the Erin Mills Town Center, and then you also have an outdoor outlet. Sort of an outlet, it's like a connected center of all of these stores within a large area called the Heartland Town Center up in North Mississauga. So anytime I need anything, I never really need to leave the city. So for a lot of suburbs, you have to go to a mall in a different area. I have everything I need within this city. And if you do want to have something a little bit different, a little bit of a different experience, you can always go to Sherway Gardens in Etobicoke, which for most people is about a 15-20 minute drive away. So retail wise, you have everything you need and more within Mississauga. In terms of the culture, I think it's pretty well known that Mississauga has, just like Toronto, pretty much every ethnicity within the planet in the city. And that has a lot of bonuses, especially when it comes to food, which is probably my second favorite thing about Mississauga. Granted, this is not the Toronto food scene, but Mississauga's food scene has actually been getting a lot better over the last decade. And because of the increase of different ethnicities into the city, we're getting a lot more choices than we really used to. And trust me, if you're watching this video and you're thinking about cities like Burlington and Oakville, which for good reason you should, but when it comes to food, you will be making trips into Mississauga, whether that's for Korean food, Japanese food, Middle Eastern food, any kind of food from any ethnicity, you're going to find probably the best spots within a close drive in Mississauga. On top of that, you have major festivals that celebrate the city's diversity. You have events like Karasaga, Muslim Fest, the Latin Festival, Mississauga Polish Day, Bollywood Monster Mashup. There's a ton of different things going on, usually within Square One, the Celebration Square area, and you can find pretty much anything that you want, and you can visit all of these different festivals throughout the year. And thank you for sticking around until the end. As promised, I'm going to give you a little bit of insider information of what my clients usually put at the top of their list when they're looking for homes in Mississauga. I'll give you three actually, one in the north, one in the center, and one in the south of Mississauga. In the north, people generally go for Central Air and Mills or potentially Streetsville, but there's a little bit less choice in terms of overall housing mix there. In the center, Arundel is usually the top choice, and in the south, most people gravitate towards Port Credit, but they end up actually buying the home in Lorne Park instead. And we'll get to that reason why in another video. But all of these neighborhoods are all really well connected. They have great schools, great trails, and great parks. And in terms of food and culture, most of these things happen in Square One, so it's a short drive to all of those things. If this video gave you a better picture and idea of Mississauga, hit like, subscribe, and check out the ways to contact me in the video description below. And if you want to see the flip side, I made a video on why some people do choose to leave Mississauga, so make sure you watch that one next before you make your move.